Recording.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lots of people are still hopping on. I know I've got lots of people saying they're going to rewatch this. We obviously have lots of people on vacation and different things going on. So I am so excited about tonight, and you guys are about to find out why. I think that you are just going to love tonight. I mentioned a little bit ago that you're going to want to grab a pen and paper. I think you're going to have a lot of notes to take tonight. Back at Leaders Retreat, I went to the SeaWorld event. I earned the SeaWorld event. And on the bus ride home that night, I got to meet our guest for tonight, Kim. She was there with her husband and her little kiddos. They were so cute. And it was just a really, really fun night. But she shared a little bit of her story with me then on the bus. And I was blown away, like literally just blown away by it. And so I knew I wanted to have her on a call. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her, and then I know she's going to share more of her story and just really share a lot of great information with you guys, a lot of tips, tricks that I think you're going to learn so much tonight. So Kim signed up in 2020, you guys, June of 2020. It's only been 2 years. Like, that's so crazy to me. She went Fast Start Senior Silver within 2 weeks. She was in the top 20 within 6 weeks and made over $2,500 and won a free trip to Arizona. Pretty good start to her business, I would say. She was in the top 20 recruiters for her entire first year. And you guys get this, she hit Emerald in 14 months. Pretty doggone amazing right there. So she earned the Portugal trip, which was so fun to watch everybody on that trip, and has literally swept every contest that we've ever had on her leg and her husband's leg. So you guys see why we wanted her on here tonight. But not only is she just amazing in business, I just really, the little snippet I got to talk to her, I was very impressed just with who she is as a person.
To read it. I don't know.
And let me mute everybody. And so I knew I wanted you guys to meet her as well. And FYI, it does say that my name is Amber Livesay, but I am not. I am Jana Hooten, for those of you that don't know. I'm on Amber's account. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our guest tonight. You guys are going to learn so much, and we're just so, so happy to have you, Kim. So go ahead and take it away.
Sorry. Awesome. Thank you so much for that great introduction. It is just, y'all, if you probably feel the same way, Jana, but like when you hear that, and it's just like, I don't get to listen to it without tears coming to my eyes, because it's just so unbelievable for me. And every time I hear it, I'm like, wow, that's me. She's talking about that actually happened. So, and you'll know when I share a little bit of my story, you guys all know why. It's such an honor to be here with you tonight. It's an honor to be invited to lead a call for a diamond team. I'm not a diamond yet. I'm not sapphire yet. But it's just incredible, all God's done in my business since I started. So hopefully that there's a lot of value for you tonight in the call. Hopefully you leave away not just inspired, but also with some tangible things that you can take away and implement in your business. That's always my heart. And I'll definitely try to save some time at the end for questions. I will give you fair warning that I am a talker, and whenever I do a call, it is packed. Usually people are like, my wrist hurts, I can't write that fast. Like, it is just, my style is that I don't want to waste anybody's time. If you're here and you're spending time away from your husband and your children and your life, then I want to make it count. So I do, if I'm talking too fast, if you miss something, if I need to, I'm sure it'll be recorded, but I'm also happy to go over anything or to share my notes from the call or anything like that. So I'm Kim. I'm actually originally from Buffalo, New York. I live with my family in Northern Georgia now. My husband is a head executive chef. We have 3 kids, a 9-year-old boy, Caleb, a 4-year-old, well, he just turned 5, Joshua, and Eden, who is 2. And we moved to Georgia. We had just 1 kiddo, and I was looking for a way to make money from home while my first son napped. That would kind of help us just get debt free and save for our first house. We were a financial mess when my husband and I got together. And it's a big part of our testimony. And so I made a post in a mom's group. I got all of the MLM things, from people. and Unique and Mary Kay and all of it. But a couple of girls presented me with a health and wellness option that I looked into. Well, and I should say, when I first had my first son, my sister was like, I am so tired. We're a pretty blunt family. And she's like, I'm so tired of hearing you complain about how you don't ever have money. You need to do something about it. She's like, I have a friend that's doing Mary Kay and she's making good money. I don't know if there's any Mary Kay, former Mary Kay ladies on here, but I actually am a yoga instructor. I've been into health and wellness since I was about 5 years old. And I always wanted to, my big dream was to be a fitness instructor, like, you know, Autumn Calabrese and the people that you film, Shanti. So it's just funny that she's like, makeup. I'm like, I don't even wear makeup. I don't know anything about it, but I'm like, you're right. I got to stop complaining. So I'll try it. And I did it for a year and I went to all the trainings, and I'm sure the business model has changed, but I have so much gratitude for the business Plex. If you have never done another network marketing company, just trust me that you are in the best of the best place. Borrow my belief. I see some of you nodding, but like, I have done, this is my third. And it's still a part of me cringes when I say that, because I used to judge women so harshly when I would see them jump from one to the other. I'm like, oh, these people that are just looking for a quick fix and the next thing, and like that are just not willing to stay committed. And I was wrong. That is not everybody's story. There are some people that are just trying to find the right fit and they haven't found it yet. And that was me. And I actually have now built a team of women who actually have all done network marketing and all spent a lot of time and a lot of money and never made much money. And that's who I attract now, because that was me. And so I'm so I see some comments coming. I promise I will look at them. I just don't want to like go off in a squirrel mode and then not get to my thing. So, but anyways, so I spent a lot of time. I had to hire a babysitter to watch my kids. I had to buy thousands of dollars in inventory and makeup. And I went and I would do these parties, you guys, in-person parties, right? And like half the people wouldn't show up. Most people just wanted samples and wouldn't buy anything. And I had to pay a babysitter for my time, and it was just not working. So again, I sold off my inventory at the end of a year and was just kind of like, forget it. But when we moved to Georgia, I found myself again, like, we're not any closer to getting a house. We've been doing Dave Ramsey. We need some extra money. My husband's mom passed when we were younger. We didn't have anybody to help watch our kids. I was going back to get my master's when I found out I was pregnant with our first. And so I felt like my hands were tied. Like I didn't have someone to watch my kid for me to go back to school. And I also didn't want to pay somebody to raise my kid, like, because the degree I had with English, and I was like, I'm just going to be handing my paychecks over for somebody else to raise my kid. I'm seeing like been there, done that. So I felt like I was the perfect candidate for network marketing. But when I made this post in a mom's group in Georgia, I specifically said, like, I don't want to do anything with sales, because I had tried Mary Kay and like, that wasn't for me. And of course that was everything that I got pretty much. But there were two people at the bottom that were really not pushy. And one girl just said, if you're interested in health and wellness, shoot me a message. And the other girl said, hey, I don't know if you know what Plexus is, but that could be a good fit for you. And either way, they shot me messages. But Plexus was misrepresented to me by that girl. And all she said was, I was like, I've never heard of Plexus. I don't know what it is. And this is like 6 years ago now. And she said, so it's this little pink drink and you can eat whatever you want and drink it and you're going to get skinny. And I was like, oh my Lord, whatever that is, I would never touch that with a 10-foot pole. That's got to be full of chemicals. And by the way, I mean, if you haven't seen me, I'm about 120-ish pounds. I don't have weight to lose. I've had a lot of health problems and I got a lot of issues, y'all, but my weight just hasn't been one of them. So I was like, that's just not anything I'd be interested in. So I wrote it off, never even looked into the company. But the danger of that too, of when people misrepresent things like that, is I wrote Plexus off completely for a really long time. And so anyways, I did Beachbody. I really felt like God was nudging me to do that. And I was super, super skeptical again of sales and lots of fear to work through. It was a good thing. I went all in with Beachbody for 4.5 years, got into the top ranks of the company, but nothing like this. And to put this into perspective for you, every single day, 7 days a week, I showed up to my business. I posted on social media, like at least once. I did all the stories. I ran my team page. I ran a team call before I even had a team. I recorded myself to get myself ready. I did everything I had no upline support. I had to do everything the hard way. I almost quit every single month because it was so hard and so time consuming to figure it all out myself. There was no systems that were handed to me. And that is why this is a big part of my call tonight, is systems. Everything was hard, but I refused to give up. And I burnt myself out, y'all. I woke up at 5 a.m. every day. I was living on Energize, their jacked up caffeine thing that their coaches live on. I was up all night. I was burning the candle at both ends. And I think that was a big part of what wound me up in a situation where a couple of years into my coaching journey, I never, ever in 1 month, I made just over $2,000. I did that in less than 6 weeks with Plexus. And it was just mind blowing to me how hard I had to work for that income. So just know, all network marketing companies are not the same. And usually there is a handful of people at the top in these companies that are making all of the money, and the same people are on that stage every year. And that is just not the case with Plexus. And if you were at convention, you got to see how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emeralds and dime are up on that stage. And I hope it just was opening your eyes that you can be one of them. So anyways, it was I ended up being 2 years into my journey, and all of a sudden I had a second baby, and about 3 months postpartum, my hair started to fall out like crazy. It had fallen out a little excessively after my first, but this was like, literally, I looked like a cancer patient. Huge bald patches, lost a lot of it, have a debilitating anxiety. And I always struggled with anxiety since childhood, but it was debilitating. I had brain fog, memory loss, cold hands and feet. I had insomnia, low libido. I mean, I had so many symptoms, and I just knew something wasn't right. And I was in and out of doctors, and they're just prescribing meds, anxiety meds and sleep meds. And, the anxiety meds cause insomnia, and then there's more sleep meds, one medication turns into another. And I've never been a medication person. I'm like, no, like, I want to know why this is happening. And long story short, I'm leaving out an awful lot. Again, it was people like yourselves, right? That I was posting in a mom's group and about what's going on. Someone said, you need to get your thyroid checked. And I ended up finding out that I had my thyroid checked after my first, but I didn't have the right tests. I went to an endocrinologist, got a full thyroid panel, got the antibodies, found out. I'm like, their phone call, never forget. I post about this on Instagram all the time. So you have an autoimmune disease. It's called Hashimoto's. Don't even worry. It's not a big deal. When you're done nursing your baby, which we would encourage you to wrap that up soon, we're going to put you on some thyroid meds, and eventually your thyroid's going to figure out what's going on. It's going to burn out completely. And then you're going to be on those meds the rest of your life, just a higher dose. Do you have any questions? And I was like, yeah, I have a what? A disease? They're like, oh, and you're showing up as pre-diabetic, but that's also not really a concern. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. I'm like, I'm a hot yoga instructor. I'm a health and fitness coach for a living. I have always been very health conscious. I've never had a weight issue. And you're telling me I have an autoimmune disease. I'm pre-diabetic, and don't worry, and you're just going to medicate me the rest of my life? Like, why did this happen? How did this happen? Because I wasn't like this. So there's got to be a way to get back to where I was, and nobody could help me. Nobody could answer my questions. Nobody could tell me what was wrong and why this happened. And that was the beginning of me realizing that I was going to have to learn to become my own advocate. And I went to bookstores and I bought all the thyroid books. And y'all, when I say I exhausted myself for years, I actually saw a friend who is my sponsor now, Chelsea Dassinger. She was posting about this, pink drink and these supplements that were helping. And she shared some thyroid testimonies, and she shared a Hashimoto's one. She was in my small group at the time, and I was praying about it. And I just kind of watched her post, and I was like, maybe this is something I should try. But because Plexus had been so misrepresented to me in the past, I was very skeptical. She said all the same things that she ended up saying this time around. I tried Plexus. I gave it 30 days, and I told her I was going to give it 90. And then I turned off my subscription at the 30-day mark. And I said, Plexus didn't work. I don't feel any different. And I cannot afford to spend another $130 as a stay-at-home mom building this business that's not making me much money. I just can't pay for supplements that I don't think are doing anything. So again, like so many people, I wrote it off. Plexus doesn't work. And in my mind, that was the truth. It wasn't. That's just what I believed. So I decided, like, God bless my heart. He knows that I just need to do everything the hard way. And so he just sits back there and waits for me to it literally burned myself out again. So I'm like, I've got this, God. I'm going to pray for you for healing, and I'm just going to do all the things. So I did gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, egg-free, sugar-free, caffeine-free, started following the medical medium, even though I'm a Christian. That's just the whole thing, but he's the celery juice guy. And I started drinking celery juice every day, lemon detox water in the morning. Y'all, when I say I was making my own almond milk, I was like, the things that I learned to do on this healing journey, I did everything that everybody that I know that reaches out to me today is not willing to do. And I still had symptoms. I saw some improvements, but I still had symptoms, and I was exhausted. And I was spending so much money my family didn't have. I was working with naturopaths. I was going to the chiropractor. I was rolling thyroid oils from Young Living. I did it all, and I still had symptoms. And I see some of you nodding, is that's your story too. And your story is powerful, right? My story is powerful. And then as at this point, my 2020, I had a baby right before our world shut down, about 3 weeks. My husband lost his job days later. God had actually called me away from Beachbody in October of 2019. I was exhausted. I was so tired of trying to find my worth in my business. I was so tired of getting caught up in points and rank and setting the same goals year after year that I never got any closer to. I was tired of telling God that I was surrendering my business and then taking it back and trying to make it all happen in my own strength. I was exhausted from trying to be my own provider and thinking that my paycheck was my provision when it's not. God is. I was just tired. I have a father who I have always tried to be good enough for him. And I was trying to just do something with myself in that business so that I wasn't just the girl who was always almost perfect, who got pregnant outside of marriage and probably embarrassed them. And I just wanted to rewrite my story, right? I wanted to just be enough. And I needed God to take that away from me, for me to realize like why all the success I had been praying for so many years, why he loved me too much to give it to me, is because I wasn't ready and my heart wasn't in the right place. And because he did not want me to find my worth in a business, because that is just not where it can be found. And it is easy to slip into that in network marketing. It really is. And probably in anything. So God knew that I was finally ready to stop the striving and the selfish ambition and all those things, and just trying so hard to do enough and to be enough for my team, for just all the things. And I just was ready to learn to finally rest and find my worth in him alone. So I laid it down. It was the hardest decision I ever made, because blood, sweat, tears for 4.5 years were put into that business. But now I know it was so that God could prepare me for this. Like I said, I had a baby a few months later in the middle of COVID, and everything was just hard. And I started about 3.5 months after I had her to realize like my dad was battling cancer. I already lost my mom to cancer. Our house flooded. Our $4,000 pool cover retractable thing broke, and we couldn't afford to open it during COVID when everybody was paying to put pools in. We couldn't even pay enough to open ours. And everything was hard. And I certainly didn't have money for supplements, but I saw my sponsor, the same sponsor I signed up under years before. So if there's any lesson for you to stay consistent and to stick around, everything that Jana just said about me, how many of you would like to have somebody join under you and they're going to Portugal and they're in the top 50 and they're in the top 20? But you know what? You don't get that from leaving when those people leave. I'm so glad that Chelsea didn't walk away, that she didn't tell herself a story that it was about her. Because the reason why I quit 5 years ago is because of me. She did the same things. She said the same things. It was me. And you got to understand that when people turn off their subscriptions, there are things we can do, there are systems we can put in place. But even when we do it all perfectly, there are still going to be people that leave. And God is in control. And he was in control, and it was a part of my story. And it was actually for me, and it was for Chelsea. And so now I am, yes, not only a really high recruiter, but I'm a high recruiter bringing in people who've done Plexus in the past and didn't give it enough time to work. So any aspect of your story and people under you, that God can use it for you and for your business. So anyways, when I started again, when I saw her share a testimony of Christy Jacks, actually, I got to tell her at convention that she's really why I'm here today, really spoke to me. And I was like, okay, this girl has the same symptoms as me, the same condition. She found healing. And I had rolled my eyes at Chelsea's post for so long, and all of her business stuff, and just all of it. But the truth is she was helping people get results. And a lot of times I wasn't, because people can do all the squats and all of the nutrition plans, right, and not lose weight when there's a gut health problem and all that. And that bothered me a lot in my business. But Chelsea was also making so much money, and I was not. And anyway, so I reached out, and God gave me a nudge to try the products. But of course, the problem was, again, I didn't have the money. I literally sold a couple things on the Facebook market to come up with like the $89 for my triplex welcome pack. She gave me collagen because she knew my hair loss was so bad, and I was just crying, and I was just a mess. But the problem was she explained to me I had to give this 90 days. I'm like, I know, I didn't do that last time. And if I want to know if it actually works, I've got to give it enough time. The problem is I don't have the money again. And I'm not that person that's just saying it. There's a lot of people that are buying Starbucks every day and telling you they don't have the money for these supplements, right? That wasn't me. We literally cut everything. If you've ever followed me, and I'm sure none of you have on social media, I've just shared our debt-free journey over the years, and there is nothing that we didn't give up for 7 years. And it was so hard, but there was nothing left to cut. So she told me about their referral program, and I was like, no, like absolutely not, because I've done network marketing. We are not doing that. Like, I'm not starting a business. She's like, no, Kim, it's not what this is. And I was like, no, I know what you're doing here. You're trying to dupe me. You watched me. You think I'm great at network marketing, all things. You want me on your team. I'm telling you, God called me away and I'm not doing anything like this. I'm here just for the products. And I really hope that they work. And she's like, yeah, but here's the problem. They're not going to work if you can't give them enough time to work. The referral program is going to help you if you just grab, like, if you know 3 people that are struggling and they decide to try the products, you're going to get your products for free for a few months. But what she told me, and this is really a big part of my call tonight, is why I'm here today. She said, Kim, she's like, not only did she emphasize that this was not building a business, that they were 2 different things. But she's like, I just want you. And I was like, I'm like, well, I can't tell people to try something that I don't even know if it's going to work yet. And like, I did it before and I didn't feel like it worked. And, I'm very honest and authentic. So I can't do that. And she's like, I feel like you're overthinking this, which is total Kim. She's like, I just want you to think about something. Do you know anybody in your life right now that struggles with anxiety, depression, skin issues, sleep issues, like stress issues, thyroid problems, autoimmunity, like the list goes on, and sugar cravings, low energy, like caffeine dependence, can't lose weight no matter what they do. And I was like, honestly, I don't know anybody that doesn't struggle with one of those things. She's like, okay. So she did not tell me to go reach out to these people, which might be what you're thinking. She told me what I tell every single person that joins under me. Now that you know that you can think of some people, I want you to go to bed tonight and I want you to pray. And I want you to ask God to put anybody on your heart that might be needing this information. And I was like, I can do that. So I went to bed and I prayed. And in the morning, there were 2 people on my heart that had done Beachbody with me that had never been able to lose weight, that I never knew why. And I was like, one of them is a good friend and I know she has a thyroid problem. And I just was talking to her on the phone to catch up a couple days later. And I just mentioned what I was starting. And she's like, what? Like, why didn't you already tell me about this? Like, you got a thyroid problem. I've got a thyroid problem. If you just figured out it's all rooted in gut health problems and blood sugar stuff and inflammation, like, why? Hello, add me to the page. And like, she was like mad at me that I hadn't already done that. Well, y'all, I wasn't on Facebook. God had called me to fast from social media. I messaged my sponsor and I was like, girl, I don't know what to do, but one of my friends is interested. And she's like, it's fine. I'll pop her into our info page. What's her name? And she helped me tag her in a couple of things. Again, she tagged her in a couple of things. And my friend literally texted me and was like, it was just a welcome post, something about triplex, something about the 3 pillars of our health, gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation, and then a couple of thyroid testimonies. And my friend literally messaged me within 2 hours and was like, how do I order? And she got signed up. And then I told her, I'm like, I don't know if cost is a concern, but she's also a very thrifty stay-at-home mom. I was like, if it is, I'm like, I know that I made the mistake years ago of giving these products 30 days, and this is not a 30-day thing. Like, this is at least 60, 90 days of just to start to see what it can do for you. And I'm like, it's like literally $120 a month. So you're probably looking at like, around 350 or whatever, $350 to $400 to give this the time that it needs to start to work. If you don't have that, let me know, because I can, help you do what I'm doing, which is just thinking of a couple of people and, using your referral link. She's like, oh, I bet you my mom would want to try it. And my cousin has some, whatever. She invited a couple people to the page. Y'all, she went, what I didn't even know was Fast Start Silver. And the other girl, I reached out, and this is exactly how I reached out. And I can share this with you guys after the call, or if you want to take notes, but this is literally how I've reached out to people at the beginning when God would put somebody on my heart. I was like, hey, Morgan, I went back to the other person God put on my heart, and I looked at her social media, and just a week or 2 before, she had made a post about depression, postpartum depression and weight trouble. And I was like, well, that would be why God put her on my heart. So I was just like, hey, Morgan, I know it's been a while since our like Beachbody days. I hope that you're doing well. I'm like, I saw your post that you made a couple of weeks ago about struggling with depression. And I'm not sure if you remember, but I struggle with thyroid issues and I've gone through a lot with insomnia and anxiety and different things. And very recently I realized I needed to kind of really focus on that and find healing. And God led me to some information about gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation. And I found out that literally all of my symptoms are rooted in those 3 things. And I got into an info page and I learned a lot. And I've seen so many testimonies of people that this has helped that I've decided to give it a try. And I saw a lot of testimonies of people that struggle with depression and trouble losing weight and the things that this has helped too. I'm not sure if this would be anything that would help you, but if you want any more information, just let me know. And immediately she was like, Kim, please like add me to the info page. She also signed up like her husband, her mom, and her cousin. She went Fast Start Silver, and y'all, within 14 days of me ordering triplex, like Jana said, I had already gone Fast Start Senior Silver and made $900. It took me 9 months of working every day, doing hundreds and hundreds of reach outs a month, listening to every training call under the sun in Beachbody to make that income in a month. And I just, at that point, I was like, what is this? And I called my sponsor. I was like, I know I'm not interested in the business. I'm 100% still not interested. But if I was interested, I would just like to know how it works. And so we got together and she told me all the things, and all the rest is pretty much history. God nudged me to share publicly in a post right at that point. And I was so afraid of what it would mean. But I don't want to leave this out in case it inspires anybody. I was in my daughter's room and I was in the Word, and there's a scripture. I'm sure you all know it, when Jesus was talking about making people, like his disciples, fishers of men, and they had been out on the lake all night and they had been fishing and they hadn't caught anything, when Jesus came up to them and encouraged them to go back out. And I can't tell this story without crying, because it means so much to me, because I knew what God was impressing on my heart was that I needed to be able to go back out. And he knew that. I was like, no, God, been there, done that. And I spent 4.5 years and I didn't catch anything. And I'm so afraid that I'll make the same mistakes, that I'll let it take over my life again, that it'll become an idol, that it'll become between me and my family, like any of these things. I'm so afraid. I just don't want to let myself try again. It's just easier not, right? And like, please don't make me be that girl that has tried 3 network marketing companies, because I have judged those people. Like, please, 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 like, this, do not ask this of me. But just, he made it very clear that I needed to go back out. And what he told me is that he would give me more nets than my fish can hold. And y'all, since I've started Plexus, on average, I sign 20 to 40 personal level ones a month. And most people tell me that that is unheard of. And I feel the same way. Like, it's literally happening to me. And it's like I'm watching a movie of somebody else's life. I'm like, God has continued to give me almost more people than I can handle. And so I have had to have great systems. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. But as I segue into that, like I said, I give God all the credit and the glory for what has happened since I started Plexus, because I know that this is where he was leading me. And I did not, like I said, want to do this again. I was so scared. But God knew Plexus was different. And I'm so grateful that I gave him my yes. And I think the reason that I've had such enormous growth since I've started is for 2 reasons. I have kept my focus on helping people get results with these products, which I believe includes helping them get the cost of the products covered off the bat. So that's focus 1. Focus 2 is keeping things stupid, simple, and duplicatable. I was constantly reinventing the wheel and exhausting myself doing all of the things in my last business. And I was determined not to do that again here. I wanted this business to give me time freedom, not to take all my time. And while we obviously need to spend time building businesses to have more time freedom, I did not want it to take over my entire life. So I knew that I needed to do this different, because wherever you go, there you are. So if I went at it the same way I went at the last one, the same thing was going to happen. So I know, even if Plexus was far less time consuming than other emblems, if I went about it that same way, the same thing would happen. So I decided to lean into the systems that were already there for me, like the amazing info page that my sponsor created, to just add and tag. So why change it? As I went along, and I got some of the same questions from potential clients over and over again, like, well, how long do I have to be on these? Like, is this something I have to do the rest of my life? Instead of continuing to answer that question one-on-one with people, I went into the info page, I made a post answering that question, and I didn't realize I was creating a system. So now whenever anybody would ask me that question, I would tag them in that post, and then I would message them and say, just tagged you in my answer or my response. And I was already saving myself so much time in talking to prospective clients. And I started doing the same thing with my team. So if somebody would ask me a question, the old Kim, I used to answer everybody's question one-on-one and be in my messenger all day and get bogged down and not have time for inviting and creating content and the things that really build your business, right? Because there are some income producing activities, right? We all know there's some things that we can easily avoid and tell ourselves we're doing work activities, but they are not moving the needle. And I just did not want that. So I knew I had to have really good systems. So, if I said I added a page there, if I had somebody ask me a question, I would make a post on my team page, or I would make and I didn't actually even have a team page. I went all the way to senior Ruby, y'all, probably halfway to Emerald without having my own team page. I think right when I went Ruby is when I created my own kind of info page. I'll get to that, but I did everything was message, add, tag, just using my sponsor's page, tagging people in her stuff in her team page, and just, tweaking things if I needed to. I actually had a lot of people, the majority of my growth in this has been on Instagram, which is ironic because I said I would never get on there. Facebook is my jam. I'm a word person, but I would screenshot posts from our info page on Facebook and just put it in the messenger. Like if somebody was not on Facebook and I was talking to them on Instagram, I just screenshotted and shared. Like I didn't have all these, websites and other things, right? I was just taking what we had and just getting it to them. It's just really, really simple. So I said, I've been all about systems since I started because I didn't have an upline or any support in my last MLM. So I leaned into the systems that were there for me. And you guys, systems are everything in businesses like this. I'm going to share a couple of quotes with you that I love. Most successful people are not smarter than us. And just so you know, like I am not smarter than you. They simply have better systems. As leaders, and you are all a leader if you are on this call, we need to spend time creating simple and sustainable systems for sharing for ourselves, but more importantly, for our teams. This is how we build a strong foundation, taking the time upfront to create systems. So let's talk about my systems, okay? And it does not matter. Your system does not need to look like my system, but maybe there's something in here that we would be worth you implementing or tweaking and making yours or whatever. I know Jan, I'm sure if she is where she is, has incredible systems for y'all, but it just matters that you have one. So we have one large info page for potentials with a simple post to welcome people. And then there's another post, and it's the welcome post. Now we have an image of candida yeast overgrowth, all the symptoms. And we welcome people and ask them to take a look at that image and tell us how many of those symptoms they can currently relate to. And then we ask them for like their top 3 health goals. And that just helps me know where to steer them within the page and what kind of information to tag them in. It's really simple. And why I love that is because I was trying to find answers on my healing journey for years, and nobody ever mentioned candida yeast overgrowth. Ironically, Hashimoto's itself is actually a symptom of candida yeast overgrowth, and yet no one ever told me that. So it explains why within 2 months of me starting, I kicked 14 of the 16 symptoms I was struggling with, right? Like literally within 60 days. So a lot of people, when I first saw that image, I was blown away that I had 16 symptoms that were all rooted in one thing. I never knew that. So I'm really passionate about sharing that because most people are like, holy crap, I've got 30 of those. I actually had a girl this morning that said, it's actually easier for me to tell you how many I don't have. So these are the 4 of those that I don't have, which is so sad, right? Also, anyway, so we do that. Then the second post we tag people in, it literally says 3 pillars. And it says there's 3 things that everything else in our body revolves around: gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation. And it just gives a tiny paragraph on what each of those things kind of are and what they mean. And then the next one is about triplex. And it literally says like triplex addresses those big 3 things that everything else in our body revolves around. And it's just a little blurb about triplex that's like from our triplex website, right? And then we have, obviously, like most people, testimonies. So I will grab 2 testimonies by searching the page for whatever, if it's thyroid or Hashimoto's or whatever, that would speak to that person, and that is it. So they get tagged in 5 things total, like those 3 posts and 2 testimonies. It's not really overwhelming. Now, some people don't like tag. I mean, if you feel that way, you could screenshot and you can text it to somebody. You can, send it in the messenger. It doesn't matter. But this is just the system that got me where I am today. And I've tweaked it a little bit as I've gone, but you guys, it's just simple and it works. I think sometimes in businesses like this, especially as leaders and those of us who have been here a long time, we complicate it too much, and that's where we lose people. Guys, if you're like me, I love voice clips. Voice clips are so personal, but here's the problem sometimes with voice clips. You do not need all the voice clips. Like, have you ever, when somebody comments on your post and they're like, hey girl, what's that? What's that drink? Or I'm interested. And you get excited and you go and you text them like 10-minute long voice clips. And then they're probably just like, whoa, like I just asked that. Maybe that's not you, but that was me. I'm passionate. I'm excited. And I think I just overwhelm people. But also here's the problem. What I was doing wasn't duplicatable. So that person was never going to think that maybe they could do what I'm doing if I talked to them about the referral program and sharing with 3 friends, because they're going to be like, well, Kim sent me 10 voice clips just to tell me about the pink drink, and I don't know what she said, and I can't reiterate that, and I can't do that, right? And I never used to think long-term in my last network marketing business about if what I'm doing is simple and sustainable and duplicatable. We're going to get to duplication in a minute, but the voice clip thing is, again, you don't want to overwhelm people word vomiting, whether it's a voice clip or you're typing it out. We can easily overwhelm people. And the other problem is that people don't care about what you know until they know that you care. This is about them. It's not about you signing somebody. So ask them questions about themselves, like their symptoms, their health goals, and be more interested in hearing their story than sharing your own. This is about how you can help them solve their problems. And when somebody asks you what you do or what you take and you send something different every time, how many of you go in the chat, be honest? How many of you, when somebody comments on a post or a story, you go in and you hand type something out or you say something different every time? Does anybody do that? Yeah, peek in the chat. Anybody not? No, I'm getting some head shake. That's great. If you don't,
We
that
do have a pretty good system for that one. So I feel like everybody kind of, we've got that one down.
awesome. Okay. So that's good, because what I was literally kind of something similar, but it was a little bit different every time. And so what you're doing, I said, it needs to be simple and it needs to be duplicatable. If what you're doing, if what you're sending, if what you're saying is not duplicatable, then you have no business doing it. If your new wholesaler, well, sorry, we don't use that word anymore. If your new VIP who's trying to tell a few new friends about this couldn't do or say what you just did, then you shouldn't be doing it either. So when someone comments on a post or a story or messages you, asks you for information, here's a simple message you could share. It sounds like you've already got a system, but for me, what I always would say is like, hey friend, I saw your comment on my post, or I got your message and I am so glad you're interested. Just so you guys know, this is the same message I've saved today. It's copy and pasted. And I get sometimes hundreds of messages on a reel. I've had several go viral and have just had thousands of people reaching out. And I'm a very personal person. I want to talk to everybody one-on-one, but I realized that it was not sustainable. Again, you may feel like, gosh, Kim, I wish I had hundreds of people reaching out. I wish I had that problem. But the truth is, you need to prepare now, because if you don't have that now, like, who is faithful with little is going to be made ruler over much. And you have to be ready. I realized when those reels went viral that I wasn't ready, in the sense that I didn't have a very simple system. I didn't have like the link in my bio with the quick things. I just was like, oh my gosh, this is so much, it's overwhelming. I can't back these people. And so there's just another layer of me realizing, how can I simplify even more? So I have a copy and pasted message and it works really well. But it's basically, hey friend, like I saw your comment on my post. I'm so glad that you're interested in learning more. These supplements have completely changed my life. So I can't wait to share more about them with you. And I changed this. It was 8 months ago, 14 months ago. Now it's 24 months ago. After seeing some posts from my friend Chelsea about women with all kinds of health problems, finding healing using these supplements, I reached out to learn more. She shared about gut health, blood sugar, inflammation, and how those three things affect everything else in our bodies. When they're out of whack, it can cause all kinds of symptoms. And I used to spell out a bunch of them, like from anxiety and depression to, IBS, just hair loss, whatever. But now I actually say, I just have a couple. And then I say, in many of the images on the symptom below, how many of these can you relate to? And I do send that image. And then I just say, also, can you tell me, to save time and make sure this is the best fit for you, would you be willing to share your top 3 health goals with me right now? And most people, that message just works really well for me. Again, it sounds like you guys have your own, so that's great. But then here's the thing. My response, so it needed to also be really simple. So I would respond by, based on their answers, like, I think this would be a great fit for you, to help you reach your goals. I give them a little tidbit, like if they're like, oh, I'm really struggling with anxiety. Hey, did you know that 93% of serotonin is produced in your gut? My gosh, I am so glad that we have connected and that you're here. I can't wait for you to learn more about how this can change your life. Here's the link to my info page. So again, I'm not sure if you guys are using like an info page or what your system is, but that was my system for a really long time. Now I have a website and I have a free downloadable ebook that all that information is in, that was on my info page. So I kind of have my own kind of funnel that I system set up that I funnel people through. Yes, absolutely. I'll pop that in here when I open for questions. So anyways, I invite people to our info page. I told you what I do, where I tag, what I do. And, I follow up in a day or two if I haven't heard back. Often people are busy guys. They're highly respected on social media. We all know the fortunes and the follow-ups. You got to have a system for that too. Whether you're setting alarm reminders in your phone, if you have a follow-up Friday, if you do them every day, it doesn't matter. It just matters that you have a system for doing that, because we all know the majority of people sign up in the 5th to the 12th follow-up, right? Ordering instructions, when they ask about pricing, we have a pricing post in there that I hand wrote. It goes over the couple different ways. We tag people in that, and also guys, I would get so many people. My people are very knowledgeable. They're holistically inclined. They're researchers. They're just like me. Where are your products sourced from? And like, my sponsor does not get those people. I got all those people. So when I was about Ruby, I realized that my sponsor was doing these 3-day events and they just weren't really working. Like I would sign a couple people, but I just felt like it was kind of a dud. Like nobody was signing in them. Her team wasn't really doing anything. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like these are very surfacey, just very skimming the surface of Plexus. And maybe that's enough for some people, but it wouldn't have been enough for me. And I don't think it's enough for my people. I was like, and the more I was learning about the products, the more fascinated I was. And the more I was like, and it isn't even product knowledge, guys. Like, I mean, I'm all about that, but I wasn't even like on all the Plexus websites and like doing all the training videos. It was really like, I'm feeling better. And I would research candida yeast overgrowth and I would learn this stuff and it would blow my mind and I would spit it back out in my stories and people were, and I was like, I just need to share more of like this stuff and like what inflammation is and how people can know if they have it and what it, and so I was doing my own research online and I was like, you know what? I'm going to shut my business down for like a day or two. And I'm going to make a system. I'm going to make my own info page. I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but I do want to do something that's going to work because I want my team to come in. I want people to sign up and want to plug people in here and bring their people in and get plugged in. Like what my sponsor has done has gotten me really far, but I think I need to take some ownership of my own business and tweak it because I feel like it's not quite working the way that it was anymore. And maybe you've been there, maybe you're there because you can have a great leader that's doing a lot of incredible things for you, but you have to have a beat on your people and what they need and what you need to tweak and what you need to do so that you can serve your people. Because my sponsor is attracting different people than me on her team and in her info page. So I took the time and it was blood, sweat, and tears for a couple of days, y'all. I made a Google Drive doc and I made posts for my own 3-day info event. And I will tell you that all of my preconceived notions about Plexus, my hesitations, the concerns that I had, and I'm happy to screenshot or share some of these posts or let Janet just be in my page and take some stuff out for you guys. A lot of the top leaders in the company are in there now for that reason. And that's fine because we're one Plexus. Like, but the thing is I hand wrote this stuff and did my own research and I thought about why did I not want to, like, why did I think it wasn't going to work? I talked about the money back guarantee. I talked about the referral program. I talked about like these things. So I have when people are signing up, you know, I would run this 3-day event and I would have these posts go live about gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation. And then I would have a couple of posts about, you know, the pricing. And then I would have and I would break down pricing of like what normal probiotics are that don't even work. And I talked about our 60-day money back guarantee. And I talked about how this probiotic is different. I get that question a lot. Like, well, I'm already taking a probiotic. Yeah, but does your probiotic, is it a 3-in-1? Does it have an ingredient that's an antifungal? That's the biggest thing, right? Like they're not getting rid of candida yeast overgrowth with other probiotics. They're adding a bunch of good stuff and they're not getting rid of the bad stuff. And so people need to understand that my job is to educate. Like I really have such belief in the products that like the passion comes through, but the education, my heart is to educate people. If they don't sign up for Plexus, I'm good. So long as I have done my job well of presenting that information of like why this is the solution to their problems and helping them really just even understand what their problems really are, because so many people are searching for answers. They don't understand why they're not well. And that was my heart with this info event, and it blew up. And I wanted my people, my team, to be able to add and tag. So I had to create a system for that too. So I'm not going to go into systems for like customer care and all that. I'm sure you guys have this next, but this is where I go into duplication. This is kind of my last chunk of the call. So hopefully y'all can hang with me a little bit more. So these simple systems have worked really well for me. Like Jana said, I've literally been in the top 20 recruiter my entire first year. At this event, my RSM messaged me because I didn't get the top 20 email to be recognized on stage. And I was like, is that because I sign half the people under my husband? And he's like, yep, you're number 13 in the company right now. He's like, but you're not going to be recognized for it. And it's because I'm trying to, my husband should be Emerald this month. And that was my big goal, is putting my head down and getting him there. And he doesn't work the business. I just put a lot of orders under him. But guys, I knew that in order to have massive growth, and I have had massive growth, that systems were not the only thing that I needed to focus on. Duplication was just as important. If you want to go fast in this business, and a lot of people would say I've gone fast, but they need to look at the other year in Mary Kay, the 4.5 years in Beachbody, right? This is not my chapter A, so please don't compare yours to mine if you're new to the business. But yes, you can, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you got to go together. You've got to find a team of people. That's what's going to take you where you want to go in this business. And this quote I love is that success without duplication is merely future failure in disguise. I'm going to repeat again, guys, because it's so profound and it's so good. Success without duplication is merely future failure in disguise. You can have some quick wins in this business, but I'm telling you that you are not going to be able to go far or have just massive growth like this without duplication. So like I had said, my sponsor had this thing and I just didn't feel like it was really working that well for me. So I took what she did And I just made it mine. I had the outline kind of from her and I just filled it in with my own stuff. And if what you're doing isn't working as well as you want, you need to change or tweak it. What she was doing wasn't working for my team. So I put my head down. I created content for my ideal client that I knew she would connect with. But I also, wanted to have an info page to add people to, having an info page to add people to when they want more information was great, but having an event to invite to that was live and kind of created some FOMO when people were ordering, and where I could host a sale and have that time urgency. It's like you get that email from Kohl's and the 50% off is ending tonight. And you're like, crap, I'm tired. I want to go to bed, but I really need the slippers and the robe or the whatever for my kids' school. And so you do it. Why? Because there's a deadline. And in these live events, we can give people a deadline, and it works for them and it works for you. It can work for your team. Like, crap, this event's on Monday. I forgot I got an invite to this today, or I'm not going to have anybody in there. It really does work. And I kind of knew that I needed to have that. So having a general info page that you can invite to, was like having a goal of getting in shape over the next year. I just feel like there's no urgency to work toward that today. So I decided to take my content and make it go. I posted it live as an event. I think I started with a 3-day and then it became a 2-day. I did it once in the first month and there was like 19 signups, 15 or 19 the first time. And I was like, wow, that's really good. But it was like mostly mine. And so my team, I really wanted them to see success. So I decided to do it twice a month and have them, and I kind of made a post and had my team invite to it. And, I wanted it to work for them. So I did a 50 invite challenge. Now I'm not about cold messaging, but whether it's a follow-up invite, somebody that's commented on a post, reached out, somebody that you talked to about Plexus in the past, whatever, or however you want to do this, I challenged them to do the same. So I sent out 50 invites. I gave them the invite that I was using. I gave them the tools. I told them that I was inviting 50 people that day. I encouraged them to do the same, because as leaders, we cannot expect people to do what we are not even doing ourselves, right? The speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So the info session, like I said, has worked well for helping, my team connect people to, but, we would have that welcome post that encouraged them to invite friends and family who might be interested in learning more about. Immediately, I wanted them to know, because like I said, you guys, if it wasn't for the referral program, I wouldn't be here today. If I wouldn't have gotten a few people to jump in with me. So I am really strong with helping people make a first post in their first month. Some people do that right when somebody starts. I kind of like to have people feel some difference or get some results from the products before I have them share a post. I've done it both ways. There's so many different ways to help people get them to share. But the truth is you do need to have some urgency with helping people bring in friends and family. And there's a million different ways that you can do that. But at the end of the day, let's just be honest. Everybody, whether it's a mom, a sister, or best friend, everybody knows 3 people that are struggling with health issues. And you just really need to be bold in your business about, for me, my boldness has served me well I've never tried to develop silvers. I've never tried to get to the top of the company and be all I was trying to do was get these products into the hands of as many people as I could. But I was doing that well for a while, and I was noticing people turning their subscriptions off at 30 days or 60 days. And I had what I thought was good customer care, but I realized that I was doing people a disservice. That the best offense is a strong defense. I want people to be able to get healing, then I need to help them be able to afford to stay on the products. And right now, with the cost of inflation, everything going up right now, people are struggling, even the ones that know these products work and they love them, to stay on the products. It has never been more important for us to be bold about this referral program. And y'all, Instacart, you guys know what Instacart is? When you share a referral link, Instacart, they give you $10 of free groceries. 10. Plexus gives people $65 a person this month, right? Try Plex and Reset Welcome Pack. It's a double business builder bonus. It's $50. They're going to get another 15 in pay points. It's $65. When they get their third person, they're going to make about $400 this month from 3 friends. I'm bad at math, but that's like $133 a person, not 10. We should be shouting this from the rooftops. And what I knew, because people need that, I just wanted them to stay on the products. How many of you, like, show me in the comments, your people turn off their subscriptions and you're like, they would have worked for you, but they're not even on it. I see the hands going up. Like, they're not even on it long enough to know if they work. That's our job. That's our job. We know that if they bring in at least one person in their first month, they're like 70% more likely to order the next month. But if we help them get 3 friends, they're like 90% more likely to be on the products a year from now, y'all. Can you imagine what that residual income would do for your business? Can you imagine? We know the whole power of me plus 3, but we've got to get out of our own way. You have to understand that, like, I would rather have someone be like, I don't think anyone could ever say they feel like I'm pushy, but I do have a great system in place. I ask people up front. I count the cost. It's biblical, guys. I'm a big faith person, so forgive me for all Bible references, but it's literally in the Bible. It says, who starts to build like the foundation and doesn't first count the cost? You have to know that you have the money to build your entire house. Nobody just decides to build a new home and then they lay the concrete and they're like, oh crap, we're out of money. So I tell people, right? Like, hey, this welcome pack is only $89 or $99 or, $153 if they're doing triplex and reset right now, or whatever. It's an incredible deal. But hey, this isn't a 30-day thing. And I really want to make sure you understand that. There's never been a person that signed under me that did not hear about the 90-day commitment. And do I have your permission to remind you, like, are you willing to stay committed for at least 90 days? Because I've literally told people that I do not want to sign them up because they told me they want to try it for 30 days. And I don't know about you, maybe you feel desperate for a sale. And there are times in my business before this that I've been there, right? But the thing is my heart is for people now. So I would rather not get that sale this month and have them wait until they have the money, or allow me to help them get that money so that they can actually stay on the products. It is so important that we set people up for success. And so I have a really great system for the referral. I think Jenna or somebody had heard my Portugal call, and I've shared about this there, and I have a 19-minute video that I'm happy to share in the comments if you guys want it. So many people wanted to know what my system was like in my info page, but also for this referral thing, because I was blowing up. My team was blowing up with silvers and duplication, all of that. And I know I'm like out of time, so I'm just gonna say this really, really quick. I'm really big on the I do, we do, you do. So what I did was I was like, not everybody's in my team is gonna have my story where they tried the products 5 years ago and quit in the 30-day mark. And this is why I'm so passionate, is because money is an obstacle for so many people. And I don't ever want someone to ever come into my organization and not be able to find healing because of finance. I feel so passionately about it that I cry when I talk about it, because it's not friggin' fair. So I have a solution. I can help them. Now, is everyone going to be open to that? No. But here's why most people aren't open to it. They think they have to be a salesperson. They think that they have to have some kind of result before they share. How many times have you guys heard that? So I do my job. Are you doing this in your business? Do you get frustrated when people tell you that they're not interested? Or are you literally doing the work to say, why are they saying no? And how can I prepare so that I can help handle that objection? Because that's what I did. I thought about it and I said, well, I said I wasn't going to share because I thought I had to have results. I was brand new. I didn't have any result to share. Well, here's how Chelsea helped me debunk that. Hey, you don't have to have any kind of result to connect other people that you know that are struggling to information that might change their lives. Oh, shoot. Like, oh yeah. Okay. So, okay. I got to put that one to rest. Like, you don't have to have a result to be able to help someone. Does someone who literally had their house burned down, and if you saw your neighbor's house burning down, would you ever say, oh, I can't come help you? I've never had my house burned down. I don't know what to do. No. So you don't have to have a result with the product to be able to turn around and say, hey, Aunt Sally, hey, sister, whatever. I just found out about the importance of gut health, blood sugar inflammation. And like, I know that you're struggling with X, Y, Z. This could help you too. Is it okay if I share some more information? This is simple, but you have to believe it's simple. You have to have the belief that self so you can transfer that belief. That's all this is a transference of belief. Your people coming in, and when you talk about the referral program, they might be interested, but guess what? They need to know that you believe that they can do this. People, when they say like, yeah, I'm interested, I'm like, oh, awesome. Because this is so simple. I am so excited for you to see how easy this is to get this quick $400 from Plexus and not have to worry about paying for your products. Now, maybe you're like, Kim, but it's not simple. I've been trying to develop or get someone to silver for a year or 2 or 3. And like, I just feel like I can't do it. The mindset is what you need to work on. I can give you tips all day long to have you have this, but you have to write a new story for yourself. And there's a woman that's like 60 in my organization. And she said that to me, like, I listened to all your things and all your stuff seems to work, but it's not working for me. I was like, Patty, you're in a different demographic and we have to find a different way. So we recently talked about making a shout out post where we literally tag somebody when they start and like, eek, I'm so excited for my friend so-and-so, and like have a picture of them. She just decided to start these 3 supplements that have changed my life after she saw all they did for me with, cravings and blah, 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 blah. Cannot wait to see what they do for her. And that's actually been working really well for our team, just making an excited shout out post for somebody. It's brand new, it's half the press. We've only been doing this 30 days. I haven't shared in training with you guys so far. I'm about to share one with my own dive-in team, like above me next week, but it's been working really well. But the other thing is that I was talking to her about how important it is to just meet people where they're at. Her people, they're not the ones that are like, oh, I'm just a broke stay-at-home mom, I just need to make a little bit of extra money. Like, certain people are wired differently. And so we, if you were at a convention, you heard the millennial thing, the Gen X, all of that, it's just different. And so it's just important to know who you're talking to and how you can meet them where you're at. So just listen and just have a good system in place. When I never, I do, we do, you do is really important to me. When I have somebody that is like, yeah, I'm interested, I say, awesome. Well, if you have a sister or whatever, whoever you think is interested, or let's say they make a first post, I always tell them, I have an example for what you do to make a first post in my info page. And then I tell them, they have all the information they need. They know what they're going to post, what they're going to say. I have a great template that works so well for people in a first post. It blows up every time. Happy to give you guys that too. But it's basically just like, I was struggling with this. I saw my friend Kim sharing about these 3 supplements that, helped heal her thyroid and get rid of her anxiety, like what it did for me. And so you reached out and I learned from her about gut health, blood sugar, and inflammation, and how all of my symptoms, I was blown away to find all my symptoms are rooted in those 3 things. And so I got into this info page, like was mind blown over all the testimonies of people that were struggling with the same things as me that found healing using these supplements. So I decided to give them a try. And if it was a brand new person, they could just say, can't wait to see what they do for me. But typically my people are a couple of weeks in, 2, 3, 4, and they have something to share. Like, I'm only 2 weeks in and I'm already sleeping better. My cravings are down and I have more energy. I'm so excited to see, where I am in another month. That template, they kind of make it their own, but it's literally the same every time. And they tag me and I immediately send it in my team chat. And all of us have a, copy and pasted kind of what we put on a first post, because we're big on supporting everybody in our organization that ever makes a first post. When there is a ton of comments on that post of people that are saying what Plexus has done for them, that gives a lot more credibility. It doesn't just bump that post up in the algorithm, it gives a lot of credibility. And so we've seen a lot of success with that. And then I tell my people, this is huge, you guys, people that are brand new, that are coming in to find healing, I don't want to make this hard for them. I want to make this so stupid simple for them, because people are busy and they're coming in and they maybe just are just trying to find healing and they're not trying to start a business or do all this stuff. And maybe they just need the money to get their products covered, right? So I say to them, hey, when you make this post, or if they want you to make it for them or whatever, and tag them, like, just know that all you're going to do is respond to those comments that come in. And you're just going to say, if they ask for more information or what this is, you're going to just say, I'll shoot you a message. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into the messenger and you're going to add Kim McCloskey, you and this person. And you're just going to say, hey, Sally, I saw your comment on my post and I'm so glad you want to learn more. I wanted to loop in my sponsor and friend Kim, who got me started on these products, so she can tell you more and answer any questions you have. That is copy and pasted. My entire team has that. And I have taught them that system, that when they help their VIP make a first post, they do the same thing. They drop it in our team chat. They get into 3Os with these people. And here's the cool thing, you guys, it's not just simple, it's duplicatable. The same message that I just told you that I send when someone comments on Instagram and I say, hey, thanks, I send that same exact message in this 3-way message. So it's so simple. All I tweak at the beginning is, instead of saying, I saw your comment on my post and I'm glad you want to know more, I just say, hey, Sally, thanks for starting this message. And hey, Pam, it's so nice to connect with you. And then I go right into, I'm so glad you're interested in these supplements. They've completely changed my life. It's the same message, you guys. There's the candida image. I ask them for their health goals and how many symptoms they have. I do the same thing with their people that I do with mine. And here's the beauty of this. We do, you do, is I'm teaching people to be self-sufficient. I give them that support at the beginning. It's so simple that when they have this little, they see what I do, And then they see that I add them to our info page, and I tag not just that person that's interested, but I tag the person that's connecting them, that's going to get their referral in the post too, so they can see where I tag people. I do that for their first 3, 4, 5 people. So I'm in a lot of 3-ways. A lot of my business time is in 3-way messages in helping people make first posts, but it has been so worth it because now my people know how to do it. And here's the message this is sending. When Sally, my new level 1 Sally, makes a post to try to get her products covered, and Sally has 5 friends that comment and get into 3 with me. Let's say one of them's name is Pam. When Pam signs up and we talk to her about the referral program and how easy it is, and does she need to get the cost of her products covered, and then she's going to think, you know what, that was simple, like it was a post, and like my friend hopped into a couple of 3-ways with me and introduced me to Kim, and so I would just message my friends and connect them to her, and she just kind of did it all. And then like, that's easy. It's easy. And I do take care of the first 3 people for everyone that joins in my organization for them. Because a lot of people are just trying to get the cost of their products covered. They're not trying to start a business, and I'm not trying to pull the wool over their eyes and get them to do one. I just want to help them get the cost of their products covered. But what happens when you get people a quick win is what happened with me. A lot of times people are like, I just made 500 or 600 or whatever bucks really quickly, and I want to know more about this business, right? And then you have a system to share about the business. But it's been really good to have something so simple and so duplicatable. Guys, it has blown our organization up. We develop a lot of silvers. And if this is any testament to that, y'all, not only did I earn Portugal as a mostly senior Ruby, I was only Emerald for a few months, which is pretty much unheard of. The majority of those people on that trip were diamonds, right? But is the fact that like, I don't have one jewel on my team. I don't have one senior Ruby. I don't have one Ruby. It's happening this month. I think we're about to pop 2. And I have only had this all happen with a couple of senior golds. I've literally been in Plexus 2 months. But there is so many people are sharing the referral link. There's just so much. We have the bajillion silvers and faster, and most of our people are faster at silver and faster at senior silver and all. So just know there's a million and one ways to get to the top of this organization to make some serious money. Like, you don't have to be a diamond, you don't have to be a sapphire. Like, hopefully that just inspires you of what's possible for you too. And I hope some of this information about just systems and duplication was helpful. And I'm sorry it was so long. I really didn't intend on going this long, but I'll take a peek at the comments, and if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, I think several people are just wanting some of the different the things you mentioned in the video that you mentioned, the what you send, your potentials, and yeah, there were several things. Some of it I may get later from you, and I can then just share it with everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, I see the one about the compliance. Yeah, I'm really, really bad. I'll just put that right out there at being compliant. It's definitely something I need to work on. If you go to my page on Instagram, which is where the reels have gone viral and where everything blows up and all of my people come from, it is not compliant. So I'll just put that right out there, because it is definitely something that I've just recently been convicted of. But I will be honest, when I first heard about it, I was like, sorry, what? I can't say Hashimoto's anxiety. When I was on a couple corporate calls and I had to share my story, and they're like, this is not compliant at all. I'm like, okay, well, just tell me what I can say. And they're like, well, you can't say that. I'm like, so what can I say? Because I was like, how can I connect with people like they have thyroid problems or Hashimoto's or their hair's falling out or they have anxiety if I can't share any of those things? So I know there are ways around it, but it's definitely a weakness of mine. So forgive me for that. But yeah, I'll definitely share the messages with you that I send to people. And basically this is all in a call. So what happened was Jill Renfro invited me to do a Focus February video. And if any of you guys watched the Focus February training videos, I was in one of those about silvers and duplication. This is like the main thing people always want me to talk on. And it blew up. I got a lot of messages from the network, and she had wanted the videos to be 10 minutes or under. And now that you know me, you're like, oh yeah, but Kim couldn't have done a call in 10 minutes, which is so true. So it was 18 minutes long. But the thing is, I was like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. Again, if they're here, I want to give them everything. And the thing too is, I'm not somebody that wants to just give you a little like inspirational, whatever. Like, I literally want you to know exactly what I'm doing so you can go do it too. And so I tried to put everything I could in that call, and I sent it in there. And Megan Ashman, number one in the company, she's become a friend of mine. She's like, this is so good. And like Sarah Marble and a couple people reaching out, like, you know, I've been struggling, or my organization has been struggling, and I need this. I need the systems. I need to be, and they were like, this is so good. And Jill was like, we can't use it. And I was like, okay, so, and guys, I tried for like a week, bless my heart. I spent so many hours on this free training trying to get it down, and I could never get it below like 12 minutes. And I just didn't love it compared to the 18-minute one. So now whenever anybody reaches out and they've seen my Portugal or they've seen one of my corporate calls and they're like, can you please add me to your page or share what you're doing? I send them this video every time, and everybody is like, thank you so much, because I put it all in there. So I'll put the link to that in the chat real quick and send it to Jana. And then anything else, again, I'm absolutely happy to share it. Yeah, and I'm so glad that it was helpful for you guys. And can you copy and paste what you tell your potentials? Yeah. And I can throw that in there real quick too. Does anybody have any like specific questions or anything before everybody hops off? Grab that link.
I will post the recording tomorrow, guys. And then what I'll do is some of the things that she's sharing with us, I'll put in the comments of the recording. So we make sure we get it all. You guys get what all you're wanting from this call. It was so good. Thank you, Kim. I'm like everybody else. I could listen another hour. I think that sometimes when you have been in a business for a while, it's so refreshing to hear somebody who has only been with the company for a couple years, just to hear your excitement, your enthusiasm, and your take on things, like how you are growing your business. And I love that you mentioned that at the end. There's so many ways to get to the top. And it is so true. There are so many ways to get to the top and to build a steady, successful business with Plexus. So I love it, love it, love it. So I'll give you guys a few minutes if you guys want to copy and paste some of that, but I will also make sure that I share that with everybody tomorrow as well. So I'll make sure we get that to you guys. Anybody else got a question or anything else that you want to ask him before we hang up?
I want to say thank you for sharing with us, and for like obvious how much love for Jesus comes through, and just thank you for that's so interwoven in your business. Just thank you for that. It was a great call. I'm driving, so I'm taking a bunch of mental notes, so I need to get Jana's notes and actually have them on paper, but thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad it was so helpful. I would not be here without him. It's just, and I say this to my team all the time. I spent years in my last network marketing business looking at everybody that's kind of like basically the me now, and thinking like, I don't understand, God, like I'm killing myself. I'm doing all the same things as these people. Like, why isn't it happening for me faster? And I think that's one of the problems, is that we know it's not a quick fix with these products, and we know it's not with the business, but we just can't help it because we live in a society where it's like that. And it's so easy to fall into that comparison trap. And I did the same thing. And we just have to be so careful with that, because God's in control of your business and you and the growth. And I know I just did a quick training today for my Golden Ops. And I said, we were talking about personal growth. And I said, I was not ready back then for the success that I've had now. And I hadn't been humbled enough to know that like, it's not me. I absolutely would have thought I would have stood on the stage as a top 20 Beachbody coach. Like, I'm so amazing. You know what I mean? And now I stand up there and I'm like, I do not deserve to be here. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is all God. So like, it's a whole journey, but he's been so good and so faithful. And it's just so cool to be a part of a company with so many believers too. And just under believer, it's just the most. I am like, God, Taro, I got to share my whole story with him in Portugal on the boat, and his wife was bawling and I was bawling, and he looked at me and he's like, well, welcome home. And I was like, that's what this feels like. Like, I don't even know anybody on this team. And I just feel like I'm at home on this call. I feel every time that I meet somebody from Plexus, I feel like I'm finally where I belong. And I'm sure a lot of you feel that way too. And that is another thing that people just need, is that community. To feel not alone, to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves and what God is doing. And it doesn't matter whether you're part, it may feel small. You may be like, oh, I just signed one person. You changed a life this month, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3. It isn't about a Portugal trip or being in the top 20 or 50. Like, we're all exactly where God wants us to be. We're all on our own journey. But I also want you to know that it's possible, because I certainly never, ever thought that I would be sitting here. And this could be you running this call next year. Just takes massive hard work, massive belief, and just keep letting God lead you every day. So And if
Thank-
anybody wants to message me, I'm here.
Oh, thank you, Kim. I told everybody before we got on that they did not want to miss this call. And was I right, y'all? Was I right on that one? All right, let's close out. I'm going to say a prayer real quick and we are going to go ahead and close it for tonight. You guys, next week's team call, we have something really, 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 really special. You're not going to miss it. I'll be posting some more about it. It's something different than we've ever done before. So let me say a quick prayer and then we'll close it out. All right.
Hey,
Dear Lord-
Jana. Oh,
Yes.
hey, before you pray really quick, I have a girl that is on my team and they lost their baby to spinal meningitis this morning. If there's any way you could just say a little prayer for her, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I will. Okay. Thank you, Amber. Dear Lord, we just thank you so much for tonight. I thank you for everyone who gathered together tonight. And I thank you so much for Kim and for her willingness just to share with us, for her heart for you, for her heart for people, Lord, that just shone so bright tonight. And Lord, I pray, God, that as we work our businesses this week, that we will have that same exact heart for you and for others, Lord. Lord, will you bless the work of our hands? Will you bless our desire to help others, Lord? And Lord, I just bring before you this family, Lord, that just lost their baby today. God, knowing their pain, I ask, Lord, that you will comfort them in a way that only you can, in a way that is only from you, God. Lord, will you surround them with your love? So help them to feel you in a way they've never felt you before, God. And Lord, we love you. We thank you for who you are. We thank you for what you've done for us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. Love y'all. I will see you soon, and we will post this recording soon.